Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome into Dom Time, breaking down what's happening at the Kermit Gosnell trial in Philadelphia. Some of the implications go beyond just abortion. Some of them deal with race. Some of them deal with regulating this. Let's take some more callers for J.D. Mullane. Let's go to Sharon. Hey, Sharon, welcome in. You're with J.D. Mullane. Go right ahead.
Hi. I just wanted to say that Elizabeth Blackwell used to advertise in the Philadelphia phone book that they aborted babies up to 24 weeks. It was a selling point in the Philadelphia phone book that how late term they did these abortions. And I think that we have some questions to ask, and rightfully so. And also Planned Parenthood, I know out here in Bucks County, we had Dr. Kaji, I use that term loosely, who performed abortions at the Yardley Birth Center. He did at least 5 every Friday. I was there picketing him on a regular basis. He lost his license, but that man was given Planned Parenthood's Man of the Year award. Where is the accountability? If the pro-life people did anything like this, we would be held accountable by every kind of media in the country. But they turn a deaf ear and a blind eye.
Let me ask you when you're here,
like
Sharon, though. How about the argument, though, Sharon, that pro-life people don't want any abortions? What will happen is if we drive all these people out, we'll end up with back alley abortions because women are still going to do that.
Okay, look at the statistics. The truth is that the back alley abortions that they claimed were made up. That was referenced in the book
Silent Scream.
The physician who did Silent Scream.
Yeah.
He testified. He completely made up that information. And times are very different now. What were we told in the 60s? The reason for abortion was we were going to end child abuse, we were going to end illegitimacy. All these things were going to miraculously go away if we legalized abortion. Tell me one that has improved.
Thank you, Sharon. Thanks very much. JD, turn our attention in remaining time to race and how this plays out. You believe that Dr. King's niece, there's some rumblings, might come in here to take this testimony. She's pro-life now. She's Dr. Martin Luther King's niece. What kind of impact does race have in this? I think we have a screen shot that talks about the number of African-American women that abort versus white women. The numbers are staggering. And there's some people that you witnessed in the courtroom that bring people there because they're concerned about that. This appears to be one-sided toward black babies.
Yeah, African Americans in the United States constitute about 13% of the population, but 40% of abortions. And last week at the Justice Center, Reverend Clenard Childers of Montclair, New Jersey, brought about 30 of his students from his church to the Gosnell trial, and they got the full Gosnell trial treatment. They were there on one of the most brutal, awful days, pictures and testimony. And he felt it's important because he knows these statistics that are not real well known beyond the pro-life movement. The number of African Americans who are aborted every year in this country. And so he was telling me that Alveda King, Martin Luther King's niece, who herself has a dramatic story. I think she had 3 or 4 abortions before she became pro-life, and she's at the pro-life March for Life march every January. She may come to Philadelphia for a day and sit in on the Gosnell trial. And of course, that would kick it up a notch, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, these are some of the things I think that you're right, that Gosnell is underlining these, and there ought to be a conversation tonight, and we'd have another chair right next to you with umpteen pro-choice people to have this conversation and to say, maybe to you, and the viewers can decide, you're wrong, we need this, and you're trying to push back and use Gosnell as a wedge to do this, or maybe hearts and minds would change, at least if the media did their job and weren't corrupt and put out the story.
Well, yeah, and would they ignore Alveda King in the courtroom? That would be a great question. It would be a great story to write. But yeah, I mean, we heard that, after we got news of a media blackout happening, that in 2010, 2011, when the Gosnell story first broke, feminists and pro-choice writers were the first out of the gate to object to Dr. Gosnell. They weren't late to the party. All you pro-life people were.
Well, but JD, we're flat out of time tonight, but again, we'll be picked up. When's your next column?
It will be tomorrow.
Tomorrow, all right.
County Courier-Times.
Hardworking journalist J.D. Mullane with us here. My thoughts on Boston coming up on Dom Time. Hey, let me tell you about one of my favorite places. You have an opportunity to see Chris Mann in concert at the Keswick Theater in Glenside, Pennsylvania, Saturday, May 4th. Call the Keswick for more information or visit their website, keswicktheater.com. Well, we've all spent a long week talking. I know I have, and a lot of listeners have, and viewers, thinking about Boston and what happened there. And the thing that I think most about Boston and the results of what we've seen with this terrorist attack, 8-year-old boy, I ran the Boston Marathon in 1978. It took me 4 hours, and I remember the crowd that gathered around that finish line. And I think the people that did this realized that that time of day, they intentionally placed that duffel bag as near as they could to little boys like the 8-year-old and a couple of women. What we need to do coming out of this, and the breaking news today is that the Canadians have foiled another terrorist attack. I think the President and Congress should hold a national commission to determine what is it with people that have been given an opportunity to be in this, the greatest country in the world, turn on us and commit these heinous crimes. This guy has to be convicted in a court of law, but the evidence is overwhelming. Watch for that on a future Dom Time. Thanks for watching tonight. We'll have more on the Ghazni trial in the future.